Hello and welcome back to Dodge, Parry and Roll, your fortnightly Australian independent video game and existential crisis show. I am your host for the first time in 2026, Joshua LaRosa, joined by my dear friend Vinnie Chens. Vinnie, how are you?
Good, man, good. And you did such a great job.
Yeah.
Like, no notes. Perfect.
No notes.
I thought you were going to screw it up, honestly. First one back, everyone's got a little bit of an itch.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm good with, saying the same thing. We've spoken about this before. That's my life.
Repetition.
I just do the same thing
Yeah.
on repeat, right? In different
Yeah.
environments. So every few years I mix it up, right? Like I'll go to a new workplace, so it's all fresh to them, and they're like, "Holy shit, this guy's like." But really, I'm just doing the same thing I did at the other place, in the new place.
Yeah. Yeah, see, maybe I need a new place because I've run out of material because I've been there for so long.
Yeah, you've been there. Well, it's 10 plus years. That's a long time.
Yeah. Weird. It's been longer there than I was at either of my schools. And then, it's a weird thing where you feel like when you realize you've been out of school longer than you've been in school. That's the weirdest one.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think I finished high school in 2012. Thoughts that.
But
where are we now? What year are we in?
Your school career is 13, 14 years when you count prep and kinder. So it's like you're 32. You've been out of school, 31. You've been out of school those 13, 14 years. It's 18. Like, whoa.
Yeah, that's scary. I've got to change this light. I'm looking really pale in this lighting, and I don't know how I feel about it. There we go. Because I am a naturally tanned individual.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, and I didn't want to, false pretenses,
Yeah.
come across as a pale because I'm a person of color, of olive complexion.
Yeah, we are. What is it? Mediterranean, European.
Yep.
Something.
But this is the first episode back for 2026. A little delayed. So I had a child, so I think I have a reason for us delaying our start into the year. So we welcomed the birth of my second born son, Jordan, on the 24th of January. So I'm a week and a day in.
Yeah, fair. How you finding dual wielding children? How's that been?
We had a moment today where Naomi, my wife, was bathing Jordan in obviously the freestanding, newborn bathtub, and I had Nathan in the normal bathtub, and it was just like we actually looked at each other and laughed for a second because it was just chaos. Jordan's crying, Nathan's cracking it because I've got to get him out the bath. It was nice, I don't know life without it at this point, but it's just crazy how you go from 1 minute being like, man, the free time I had, and I used to complain I had no time. There is nothing like the exhaustion I feel at the end of every day. Like ankles hurt, knees hurt, just on your feet all day. But it's great. And I've come to learn newborns are easy. It's when we had Nathan at the start, you talk to people who hadn't had kids yet, and you would say things like, get ready for no sleep, and, all that stuff that people always tell you every time that you talk about having a kid. Let me tell you, newborns, I could handle 2 of them at once. 3 of them, even, right? The hardest thing about them is just they eat every 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours. They wake up, they eat, you change the nappy, they sleep. That's it. The toddler.
You could get handballed triplets and you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Up until 1.5, 2 years old, then you're absolutely... When they outnumber you, when it goes 3 to 2, that's when it's chaos.
That's when
2
it's
to 2,
chaos.
I think you can handle.
The toddler, Nathan, our firstborn, love him, obviously, but that is where the hard work is. Because he's waking up after 9 hours sleep through the night.
Full of energy, right? And just wants to go outside. And sometimes I'm like, kiddo, the sun ain't up. Let's just ease a little. We'll get outside at some point. But he's been great. There's always obviously that period where you got to introduce the first to the second. Nathan was interested in him for about 3 minutes the first time they met, and then he was over it. But now it's cute. Is he still over it? Okay.
No, now it's nice. Now it's when Jordan cries, he's going shh. Or when I put him to sleep, he'll come and give him the teddy bear and things like that. But you just got to watch him because he's rough. Like, he was like giving him the dummies. Like, you're gonna poke the baby's eye out. He's just like punching.
Yeah.
But it's great. People keep saying, you said it when we jumped on the call, I look refreshed. It's when you've had years of exhaustion and just always being tired. And plus, I'm not working, so it's kind of like, you know.
Yeah, it's a little different.
A little different. It's a different level of exhaustion. Like, we're getting up at like 8, 9 o'clock every day. Because our nights are like prolonged. So usually I'd go to sleep around like 11 o'clock, right? But Jordan tends to always have a meal around 11:30, 12. So I would kind of always stay up to midnight. We do the feed, you know, nappy, blah, 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 blah. And then we go to sleep. So we're tending to wake up a little bit later. But yeah, that's enough about me. You know, people have kids all the time. Shut up, Josh. Seriously.
Apparently, yeah.
Apparently. But yeah, life's been good. I've got 4 and a bit weeks off work remaining. So I've had about a week off. We've got our baby photos on Wednesday this week coming. Life's good. It's just busy. Very busy. But what about you? What's been going on?
My life's been busy, but a lot more relaxed than you. You know, I had my first game of basketball back last week. That was I only played one game. I was supposed to play 2. I finished the game. We won.
Hey.
So first game back after being like injured, broken nose, bad ankles, bad back, bad knees, bad whatever. It's funny, my basketball outfit is literally like jersey shorts, 2 knee braces, 1 ankle brace.
Yeah, walking stick.
And then, yeah, pretty much. And we finished the game, we won. And I was like I'm like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good. I can probably play the other game. Because we have a game at like one stadium, then I can make it if the time is relative enough that I can make the other game. Because they always need to fill in. I was like, yeah, I'll make it. I messaged the group chat, be like, yeah, I'll play tonight. I'm like, as I'm getting ready, take off my knee braces, take off my ankle brace, I stand up and I'm like, I sit back down, I message the chat, I'm not playing.
Never mind.
Never mind. It was like an immediate like, I fucked up. I should have stood up first before doing anything. But no, life's been good, man. We've just been Christmas lights all packed up. Had a lot of family. January's busy for the families. Got a few birthdays.
Yep.
A lot of running around. Hanging out with my girlfriend Sam. We've been playing a few video games together. Like we played Donkey Kong Country.
The original.
Together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the original. That was really good.
What did you play it on?
And the Switch emulator.
Online? Yep.
Yeah. NSO is very underrated for the price. Like I do the family pack, so we pay $13 a year.
That's ridiculous.
With me and seven or 8 mates.
How do I get into that? Is there a way? What's the maximum you can have in this family?
8.
Could be on here.
8.
I think I've just paid for a full year. So
yeah, but it's pretty good. And now we're playing. I'm playing for the very first time, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Oh, you've never played? Okay, I thought this would have been one of those games that you've played before. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
Talk to me.
This is the thing. See, I'm not an N64 guy. I never had one. Never grew up with one. I maybe touched this game a little bit on the 3DS, but never actually got to it.
Yeah.
Or never played to completion. But this is Sam's favorite game. So she was a wealth of knowledge up until the Water Temple, which is I'd say about the halfway point through the game.
Is that the bad one that no one likes? The Water Temple?
But we smashed it. Yeah. Smashed it because she's on it like that. But then afterwards, oh my God, we've had to figure stuff out for ourselves. And these games are so hard. Like, credit to anyone who beat this at 8, 9 years old, because this game tells you absolutely sweet fuck all about what to do. Like, barely anything.
I wonder how many people did. You know, it's like games from your childhood. It's like this, the generation slightly above us that would have grown up with like NES and Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, and you didn't finish Battletoads. You didn't finish Ninja Gaiden. Like, probably not.
No.
And even games like from PS1 that we played that I've gone back to. It's funny. I was like, I've played this game, and then it's like, hold on, I only got through the first like level. You know, and then you're like, holy shit, I only played the first, 5% of this game. But it felt like I had played it and known this game like the back of my hand. So it's so interesting you say that.
Yeah, like, when I think of games like that,
for me, Digimon World, I didn't beat it till I was 24
Yeah.
for the very first time. That game came out 30 years ago.
Jesus, man.
So I played it when it came out.
Getting old.
And I didn't beat it until I was 20 years, almost like 18 years later. It was crazy.
Mm.
But no, Ocarina of Time, very fun. This is the 40th anniversary of Zelda, so keen to see if they actually... Everyone's speculating being like an Ocarina of Time remake. It would be interesting. It'd be cool to see now that I've played it. Be like, okay, I could see the value in it, but I would want them to make it like a true remake. You know what I mean? Like this game is actually difficult and is quite rewarding for what it is.
Yeah.
And you think of the fact that, like, you think about how small and condensed, like, sorry, the compute power of the 64 versus PS1. Like, this game doesn't feel like it's not as powerful as anything that the PS1 can't handle. You know what I mean? The fact that they've compact this whole, like, proper, like, story onto a cartridge, fantastic.
Yeah.
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 Like, no notes. Really good game so far. Haven't beaten it yet. Hope 1 or 2 more sessions. I'm like, I'm almost there. We're taking turns, but I'm playing most of it, and she's getting constantly mad and frustrated. So I'm a stubborn. You know, you just you're hard stuck being like, if someone says go do this, but you in your brain you're like, yeah, but I want to do that first.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much been me. And there's like things where you kind of know how to like break the game a little bit if you like just from like our knowledge playing games, be like, that looks like something I can glitch.
Yeah.
And you just do it. And she's like, you can't do that. And then I do it.
Feels good.
She's like, yeah, feels good. And she's like, well, I'm a little upset at that right now.
Yeah. No.
She's like, you're not supposed to do that. I'm like, yeah, well, you never tried.
Never
This is
tried.
the whole thing.
Exactly.
And yeah, so this is her favorite game. And then when this is done, she's going to play Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah. You know, I've been thinking about Kingdom Hearts actually. I think I'm there. I think I'm in the mood. I think I need to borrow the collection from you because I've got the originals and I've got the HD collections on PS3. But I prefer not to drag that out, or not drag it out, turn it on and play it on PS3. I'd rather just play it through on PS4. So either I'll try to track down a copy because I'm sure it's like super cheap at this point.
Yeah, for sure. There's also like an all-in-one package. I think it's like $50.
Is that the 2.9 one?
No, so this one's called all-in-one. It's got every single game, including 2.9. It's got every single game.
So what is 2.9? Is like a prequel to 3, right?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yep.
What is it?
And it's got the whole...
is it a game?
Story of Kingdom Hearts. It's got the story of Kingdom Hearts back cover and Kingdom Hearts Key.
Jesus.
Whatever it's called, which is the online games. As a massive Kingdom Hearts fan, I can't fucking deal with this whole narrative shit of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
I liked Disney characters and Final Fantasy characters coming together. The first one and 2, peak.
2, yeah.
Birth by Sleep, amazing.
I've never played Birth by Sleep. I've only ever played 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should definitely get the all-in-one package then.
All right. I'll try to track one down.
Would recommend. It's PS4 only, so...
That's okay.
Your PS5 would be fine.
Yeah. I feel like we're in a bit of a quiet period. Like, particularly for me. I think it's obviously driven because of Jordan and not having the capacity to really play a lot of games at the moment. Like, I was just talking to Vinny before the show. I haven't really played too much. And that's coming off a year of 2025 where I probably played through the most games that I had played in any given year in a long time.
Yeah, for sure. You're smashing it. You're playing like 2 games a month.
Yeah, yeah, two and a half. I would say, like on average. Which for some people it's not a lot, but when you're in your 30s and you got a full-time job and a child, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
It is a lot.
Shout out to the PlayStation Portal.
Yeah. Big thanks to the PlayStation Portal. So I've kind of haven't really played too much. I did pick up and got for Christmas Metroid Prime 4, which I've played probably a few hours of. So I'm in the ice region.
Yeah.
So the game's good. It's fine.
I'm not feeling it.
I'm just not. I'm very much in the same boat. Not because of not because of the reasons that people tend to talk about online. Having characters like interact and talk with Samus is not like what's doing it for me. I think the game's fine. Yeah, sure, the side characters aren't like the best written characters ever. But it's more that it's just not. I feel like the Metroid series, particularly the 3D ones. I know Metroid Prime 1, right, for its time, and still holds up really well. I played the remaster when it came out. And very much when I played it, I could even admit at the time, like, if I had played this at the time, this would have been like this jaw-dropping kind of revolutionary moment. I think what's missing from the games now that we're in 2025, 6, like the modern era of what they could be, I think Metroid's screaming for like a really compelling narrative. That's what I think is missing, particularly from the 3D games. Like the 2D games I love as is. Like, it's all about the atmosphere. When Dread came out, like, I could not stop talking about Dread, and then I went back and played every Metroid game up until now, except for the original, like the NES one. I played the Game Boy Advance remake, and I think those are like the way that the story is told in those games is perfect and it makes sense. But I think there is a compelling story. Not even that I need Samus to talk, because I know that's a big thing with the fan base, but just something to kind of tie it together in the background. Because when I play it, I'm enjoying myself, but I feel like I'm needing... This is like sacrilege to the Metroid players, so everyone relax. I feel like I need like another layered hook. Like I love the isolation. Like, you don't need... I don't want Uncharted. Like, I don't need Samus to be like, shit, every time she falls over. But just like, maybe a more compelling villain, right? Because Silax, I think, was introduced in the multiplayer Metroid game on 3DS. Hunters, I think it was.
Prime Hunters, yeah.
Prime Hunters. Like, he kind of shows up and you fight him and then he disappears again. Like, I feel like if you had a really strong villain and a really... Maybe a kind of spread out story, like, you don't need to have cutscenes all the time, but maybe in the opening, a really, like, he does something, like something big, as opposed to just like, attacked a base. Yeah. Like, every Metroid game starts with like space pirates attacking a base. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just me.
I know what you mean. Like, I kind of agree with you in that sense, where it's like, I feel like these days Samus just needs more of a sense of urgency in the story. It needs to, and not from like the character speaking or anything, but the storytelling around it needs to put that sense of dread into it, being like, okay, this needs to happen. Like, otherwise I just feel like I'm wandering around, getting lost. Actually, kind of almost for this one, I found myself getting a little bit bored.
Me too.
Yeah, and that's like, I've played Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. I played Dread. I played Fusion. I played a few Metroids. I do think the 2D element is better.
Oh, yeah.
Personally, for a Metroid game. But I like Prime. I played the remaster as well. I thought Prime was fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one I'm kind of not really feeling it. I honestly don't know if I'll finish it.
Yeah, me too. I feel like we're in a bit of a quiet period. There's a few games that came out in January that I was kind of interested in that haven't reviewed well, like Code Vein 2. So I'm not itching to kind of play anything at the moment. So I probably will go back because I don't like not finishing games. But I'm trying to think of the game that I was trying to think about as an example of what I wanted. And I can't think of the game, even though the concept of it is in my head. All right, this is it. So kind of like, think like the Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games, right? Where it's like...
Oh, you love them.
The concept that, like, you see Batman at the end of the game, his suit's all damaged. You can tell, like, he's really gone through this thing.
He's gone through the wars.
I would love a Metroid game where Samus is like Batman, where it's like, you know, she comes in at the start, suit's all shiny, and obviously the big thing about the Metroid game, you lose all your powers and you acquire them back. Maybe introduce some new powers, so it's not just like the same powers on and on again. Like, I think you can probably play around with what you expect the Metroid upgrades to be, but also have it where it's it's kind of like it all takes place in a night type thing. Very similar to the first Arkham Asylum game. And have it be a Metroidvania as the Arkham Asylum game was. I'm not saying Samus needs to fight like Batman, but have it where it's like throughout the game, you really see her being tested and strained as opposed to just kind of figuring everything out. Even though she's this bounty hunter, like, that's fine. Batman's Batman, but he still gets kind of tortured and beaten. And I feel like there's a really cool... It all takes place over one night on this planet. There's something there. And there's some really...
I agree. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think also the idea of her... Not like... Why not? Instead of like losing her abilities like she does, why not her suit gets damaged and she can't function the way she does, so she has to use like alien tech to repair the suit, and it kind of changes...
Replace parts, yeah.
Plays parts and like changes the way it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like maybe the morph ball is something else, you know? Maybe it only goes... Like, she's like, it works, but it can only go backwards. So you add another puzzling element to it. Something like that.
Yeah, just something different. And I feel like they're kind of caught between the Metroid series having this, like, you know, you get your double... You know, you get the morph ball, and you get the bombs, then it's the... Where Metroidvanias have come so far... And I kind of like how Metroid feels old, and it's like you know what you're getting, you got the same sound cues, you know what upgrades are coming. But I just think it just needs something. And it's funny that we talk about this because I think I read that Metroid's being adapted as a either a movie or an animated series, which I actually think is a good idea.
Series would be sick.
Yeah. Let me just fact check myself, but I've looked into like. I think it was after I played Dread, like Samus's backstory, and there's like a comic book that's technically canon that kind of takes place around, you know, how she gets the suit originally with the Chozos and all those like Chozo race and things like that.
Yeah,
and, like, this is actually pretty cool. Like, you know, she was on this planet, her body couldn't survive under this planet, so they did all these kind of experiments and stuff on her, give her the suit to kind of. You know, it was really interesting. So I think there's a cool narrative there, and I don't think they need to change Samus. Like I said, she doesn't need to be like Nathan Drake, but just modernize parts of it, particularly the storytelling around her.
Yeah, I'd rather be serious for the sake of being serious rather than be serious and like quippy that fucking every other generic show is these days.
Like, exactly.
And also, if they did make a show, this is the one thing I know they have to advertise and have to sell, you know, they have to sell the idea of it, but how cool would it be if they had this show, it was called something else. It was called, like, no one knew it was a Metroid show until the second last episode. There was like the opening credits actually finally rolled. You know what I mean? Where it was called like Other M, and you kind of seeing this person go through it. Like, her name can still be Samus.
Yeah,
that's fine, but like it's not called Metroid until at the very end. You're like, that's fucking Metroid.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Yeah. And it's the rumor is that they've begun development on a Metroid film. So it is a film. We'll see.
See, I'm always in two minds about films versus TV when it's trying to tell. I think for Metroid it's fine because it's not a definitive story that takes place over a game. You know what I mean? Whereas we talk about The Last of Us. The Last of Us could never have been a movie.
Yeah, it needed to be a show.
Unless you wanted to absolutely watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably go back to Metroid. But honestly, I don't know if it's coincided with like the birth of my son, is in Jordan, the one that was just born. And like this sense of like wanting to connect back to my youth. I don't know what's kind of driven this, but where I found myself kind of spending time in was, and we were talking about this before the show, was going back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Of all things. I went through my Digimon phase when Digimon Story Time Stranger came out late last year, and then found myself falling back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Early this year, or late, I think it would have been early this year. And, you know, playing online and buying a few cards and like rebuilding.
Oh, you bought some cards?
Yeah. I'm basically wanting to, so this is going to get really nerdy for a lot of people that have no idea what I'm talking about. But back in the day,
I would play Dark Magician's like everyone's favorite card, or between that and the Blue Eyes, right? Like, I'm not like the only one to do it, but I used to have a deck that was like Dark Magician themed, and they announced a whole bunch of new support, and that got me down a rabbit hole of like, okay, what's this new support? How do I play it? How do I make it competitive? And then basically trying to build out the meta version of that deck, both online but also kind of slowly getting it physically as well. Because I kind of just want it. Like, it's one of those things where it's like the game I'm playing online is free, so it's not like I'm spending money. But it's more like I kind of want to have this physically for some reason, just to have this. I used to always do this thing, even when I fell out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Years ago, I would always have the decks that I played updated. I would always be kind of watching from the sidelines, and as new things came out that would be specific, because I'm still interested in the concept of the card game, would continue to buy specifically those things. I wouldn't be buying packs or whatever, but like, you know, like Crystal Beast was like another deck that I loved back in the day. And there was a structure deck that came out a few years back. You know, like I bought 3 of them and updated and changed the deck to be modern. So yeah, and I've went back and I've started watching the show. It's just been this like, this, I don't know, it's kind of taken over my spare time in terms of when I have 5 minutes, or an hour at night or whatever, I'm not really finding myself jumping on the PS5 or the Switch at the moment. I'm like, I'm just going to jump on and play some Yu-Gi-Oh, you know? Very nerdy.
That's kind of funny because I've been, I got back into watching Dragon Ball Z, which is like, when I had a spare time, I'd do 2 things. So I started watching Dragon Ball Z up until the end of the Cell Saga because I liked Teen Gohan's voice in the original.
Yes.
I feel like that's such an iconic moment.
Yeah.
And then once the Buu Saga started, I just watched Z Kai, which is more condensed, actually way better. All the voice actors were the same. Fine. And then I find myself doing that, and I'd be playing like a handheld, but I'm playing this bad boy.
Ah.
This is my little... It's essentially a Game Boy Color.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes actual cartridges. And I've literally just been playing Tetris.
Nice.
I've been playing Tetris non-stop. Tetris is one of the greatest games of all time. It's so fun and addictive.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
That music. Dun, 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 dun. Yep.
Yeah,
so
man.
Good. So that's been my thing. Like you saying, go back to nostalgia playing Yu-Gi-Oh! As much as I was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, I do not enjoy the way the new game's played. I find it way too fast paced.
Yeah. It's different. It's very much a different game to even when I was actively playing it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's all about like you used to build a deck and it's like, all right, for the grind, I have it's really like, if you're going first, set up a board that they can't break. Try to defend that base, and then on your following turn, try to push for game, or at least put them in a position where they surrender. Turns. Yeah, as opposed to like, you know, and that's at the competitive level. Like I think, you know, for what we do when we play or whatever, like you play some meta cards that will speed up the game naturally. But yeah, the modern kind of game is that it's pretty much, or if you're going second, it's like break the opponent's board.
Yeah. And
then do the opposite, kind of either push for game or set up something on their following turn that can't. Yeah, so it is very much a different game. But I still think there's fun in it because it's unlike anything else. I think, you know, Magic. You know, I'm no expert.
Magic and Pokemon have set rotation.
Yeah,
the game is constantly the pace of Magic and Pokemon rarely changes because if there's a broken card, set rules it out within 12 months. Kind of thing.
So I don't know if I prefer that because it's kind of like it incentivizes you to always be buying or playing the new stuff. Where Yu-Gi-Oh has the power creep, but you could still get away with like playing Dark Magician, right?
you adapt it. So it's like my deck's Dark Magician, but it's like 50% Dark Magician, and it's like other archetypes that kind of have synergies with it that play well together to make it meta. So yeah,
and this is why I think the new Genesis ruling I think is actually a good balance for both. I think it keeps their format without dropping set rotation whilst having the ability to play the older, slower paced style of game.
We should try that out too. I want to try that. I haven't played Genesis yet.
I'd be more inclined to play Genesis than I would the new style.
Yeah. We'll see. Might have to have a game post this episode.
Maybe.
Yeah, so that's really been it for me. Kind of just waiting in the wing. I think February is a big month for game releases.
So for me, it's like Dragon Quest VII Reimagined comes out on the 5th, so I'm keen for that one.
Yeah.
Love a good RPG. And I'll touch on this, speaking of RPGs. So the one thing that you were playing, you said you were watching Digimon and you were playing Digimon games.
Yep.
I was watching Dragon Ball Z, and I started playing Kakarot again.
Kakarot's great. Yeah.
The RPG game that came out in 2020. So when I went back to look at it, I realized that there was a whole bunch of there was DLC added but like a lot of DLC. For this being not the most recent game, they've constantly added onto it. So you can play you can play through most of Daima, if not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Trunks and Bardock special. There's some stuff from Super, so you can play with like Golden Frieza and Beerus. So I don't know if I'm going to buy all the DLC, like maybe when it all goes on sale, but I played the Battle of God stuff. I found it to be quite fun.
Yeah.
Like,
did you see the announcements around Dragon Ball Z recently?
Yeah, with the Galactic Patrol arc and the remakes.
Yeah.
They're doing essentially a Kai of
Super. Or the Beerus arc, right?
The Beerus arc, because the animation was so terrible.
Yeah, I remember seeing some of the screenshots of like Super Saiyan 3
Episode
Goku.
5.
Yeah, that's the one.
Dragon Ball Super Episode 5. No good.
Historic.
I gotta put some of those like flashing on the screen right now, being like terrible. Absolute garbage.
I tried out the demo for Dragon Quest. I don't think it's for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it the art style?
No, I think I need a really compelling story. And Dragon Quest is not that. Like, Dragon Quest is always just like, it's like comfort food for RPG players. I get it, right? Where it's like, you know what you're getting into. I was just like, I tried the demo twice. Like, I deleted it. I'm like, no, everyone keeps talking how great it is. And I'm like, I'll re-download it, try again. And I'm like, oh my, it's just not for me. It's just not for me.
Maybe I should play the demo, actually, because now I don't want to drop money on it.
Yeah, because it comes out February 5th, so 3 more days from the date of recording. But to be honest, I'm hanging. I would love, just give me like another Trails of, I think I'm ready for the Sky Chapter 2. I think I'm just... Yeah, my Portal's waiting in the wing. But there's some really cool games coming out in February, but again, there's just nothing really for me. Neo 3 potentially, but I don't know if I'm really in a mood for a Souls-like right now. And obviously the big one is Resident Evil, which I wouldn't play because I'm a big chicken. But this year's stacked, but I think for me it's kind of later in the year. So yeah, maybe I just take my time, go back to Metroid, and just
play some nostalgia, man.
Yeah,
play some games that you want to play, not because they're out. I'm doing that with Ocarina of Time. I did that with Donkey Kong Country. I'm playing with Kakarot right now. Just in the mood. Whatever, feel the vibes. Whatever you're vibing.
You know what? I think it's time. Maybe Kingdom Hearts. Maybe now is the time. I'm gonna try to track down a copy of this. So it's called All in One, right? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see if we can find one on Marketplace or something. But anyway, that's enough. I'm not gonna go into that shopping. But yeah, it's the year's packed, so it's just a matter of as things come out. March, April, definitely. As we start getting to March and April, and we've got Saros and a whole bunch of different things coming out, I'll definitely be picking it up. But now's not a bad time to not be playing games because I'm spending time with the family. So, speaking of games, I don't know how I can tie that in.
You tried.
I tried.
You really tried.
And it's funny, we spoke about before when you were talking about the PlayStation 1 versus the N64 and Zelda, how that game still felt like a new next-gen experience, even though it was being played on an older piece of tech when compared to the PS1 and less powered. What I wanted to kind of talk about today is kind of heading into, now that we're in February of 2026, and we are hitting the point where typically we would start hearing more and more about the next generation of hardware, which sounds crazy to me because it feels like PS5 just came out, but that was 6 years ago, in 2020. So really what I wanted to talk about is a few things. So firstly, as I said, this would be around the point in time where we would start hearing about PS6 and the next generation of Xbox. And there's been conversations online and kind of reporting that there's potential chances that the next generation may be delayed. It's really being driven, the conversation's being driven by like two kind of pieces of news at this point. Firstly, and probably the more obvious one is what's going on with RAM and AI at the moment and the cost of RAM. Potentially driving up the cost of next generation, and potentially Sony and Microsoft looking at that and going, we don't want to be in a position where we launch a piece of hardware that we need to increase costs and we can't sell it at the way at the pace that we would have originally liked, particularly around Sony and the PlayStation 6. I don't think Xbox is too concerned at this point around hardware sales, but that's something definitely they need to keep their eye on.
Why? Because everything's an Xbox.
Exactly.
Everything's an Xbox.
Exactly. So the first piece is obviously around the AI. And then there was a report that came from a senior analyst at MST Financial who posted a report where he shared kind of insights from Sony Group's performance and their likely future decisions. And a lot of it is centered around like Sony Corp and not just PlayStation. But they did provide a bit of or some verbiage around next generation and potentially Sony's approach to that. So David Gibson, who's the senior analyst, mentioned that the PS5 successor isn't likely to release anytime soon, and that the previous forecasts on its release window may not be accurate. So for those paying attention, kind of heading into October, November last year, we started hearing from multiple sources that PS6 and the next generation of Xbox was targeting fall 2027. Then we started hearing 2028, so kind of 2027, 2028. But this analyst is kind of stating that he believes, and again, I think this is more his belief after the actual report with Sony, and it's not come directly from Sony, so take this with a grain of salt, that he believes that the next generation of PlayStation hardware would likely be delayed, and that the release windows being 2027, 2028 not being accurate. So the exact quote is, Sony expects the PS5 life cycle to be extended, and that the PS6 release is likely to be delayed longer than many expected, he claimed. What's interesting here in the quote is Sony expects the PS5 life cycle to be extended. So my understanding would be that has kind of come from some sort of guidance from Sony. But yeah, this is really, I think, what I wanted to talk about, because I think the conversation around console pricing and things like that has been done to death. But more actually spend a bit of time talking about the feel in the room, right? As we head into 2026, which will be the 6th year of the PS5. And how do we feel today versus how we felt a year or two removed from PS4 launching, PS3, PS2, all the way back. Because the reason why I want to spend a bit of time talking about that is I remember at this point, particularly in the PS3 generation, we were ready, right? Like the PlayStation Store would barely open, your trophies wouldn't sync. The consoles felt like they were about to take off. There was that much.
Network got hacked.
Yeah, there was so much heat going on. You got the hack in 2011. The PSN going down for 20 odd days. It felt ready, and it felt like the time was right for a new generation. So, Vinny, it'd be interesting to hear from you, because I've talked enough around how you feel around the concept of a next generation potentially happening over the next few years, or potentially further on, and where you think they should launch. Would you prefer it to launch next year, or would you prefer it came out in 2030? Take it away any way you want.
I'll tell you what, I don't want it to be released next year because I feel like this console, so this generation hasn't really had much in it. And this is the thing that we spoke about where, like from the PS3 days, we had, what's it called, franchises releasing back-to-back games on the same console.
Yep.
This generation, the delays with making games is so great where you're barely getting one per generation.
Yep.
So it doesn't really feel like you're getting anything substantial out of a lifespan of a console anymore.
Yeah.
So I would like to see it be expanded more because I want more value out of this thing. This thing for me has been a media center one and then a game console second. Like I'm not playing your Fortnite or your Roblox or anything on PS5 that is a subscription service or a live service game. I'm playing first party adventure action RPGs, that kind of style of game. Like I'm playing like first party what single player experiences where I feel like this generation is kind of lacking its substance of games compared to the end of PS4's life, especially to the end of PS3's life. So the more time we have on a generation of consoles, I think the better.
Yeah.
And this also comes from the point where I don't think games are looking that much better these days. I don't care about we've reached a point graphically where it's like I don't care about hair fibers and textures. Yeah, we've gone from games going from performance. You're allowing 2 performance or fidelity modes being available. Speaking specifically for the actually no, the Switch 2 does it as well, but yeah. Performance and fidelity modes where it's like you can have both experiences or with the pro version, or you can pick one and still have a good gameplay experience.
Yep.
So they're kind of the processing power of the PS5 is enough to play it at a slightly lower setting whilst still having a really comfortable gaming experience.
Yeah, 100%.
And this stems from the fact that we're not going from 8 to 16 to 32 to 64 bits, you know. We're actually just improving. But the gap between first and second gen was like this, second, third, like that, you know, all the way. But I feel like the gap between PS4 and PS5 is, you know, quite small.
It's a different gap, right? It was
a different gap.
It was. I then remember it was like the SSD was the big thing, right? Like how quick that is being somewhat transformative. Like if you go back and like load into Spider-Man on PS4 and would fast travel, you would have to go into a loading screen. Then you get the animation of Spidey on the train. Then it would load into the new spot. Now it's instant. Like literally, they even cut that kind of animation or scene out of the game because the games didn't need it. Like it'd be instant. Yeah.
But that's the thing where it's like it's not so much graphical like improvement, it's more just optimization now. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Because the game is, like I said, performance fidelity mode. You can run both. Some games are still coming out on PS4 these days, granted quite niche titles or mainly the sports games. But the games are fine.
Yeah.
The games still work generation. But and also this is where the thing where it's like I'm going to talk about the Switch being a kind of or the Switch 2 being a factor here because it's pretty much PS4 Pro powerful. So games that are being optimized for that are also available and ready to run on the PS4.
Yeah.
And it comes down to, I think it comes down to 2 things. The world's not ready for it yet. The world has not really experienced the PS5 itself. And the second thing is we still have so many people on last generation hardware. I'm not even talking about PS5. I'm talking PS4. There's still such a market for the generation before because it still runs everything fine. Like I said, and with your games as a service, with your live service games, they're still running perfectly fine on the PS4. So a lot of people are seeing the need to not upgrade. Because they're not those people who don't want to play the first party games. They don't want to play the next gen titles. They're playing your sports games and your live service games. They don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree 100%. Like, I think it's funny. My thinking has really changed around this topic, because I think if you asked me maybe, I don't know, 2020, like kind of coming out of COVID, like 2022, 2023, around what we thought would be the case at this point, I think our kind of trajectory has been completely different. And
yeah,
I think there was a lot of learnings out of COVID where the new generation launched. We got a handful of kind of like next gen exclusives. I think Return or Ratchet and Clank, Demon's Souls remake, and a few others that are there to not particularly sell extremely well, which Sony would love that, but more move the needle to get people to invest into the next generation. But I think how do I put this? It's kind of like gaming isn't ours anymore, if that makes sense. Where it's like,
yeah, it's not for the players.
And it's not for the hardcore players, in the sense that, there was this want and need to upgrade from PS1 to PS2 to PS2 to PS3, right? And the masses would adopt. And the masses at the time were the hardcore. In I think, not in terms of numbers, but I think in terms of spending, right? And just knocked over my microphone. We covered this. I think. When did we cover this? I think I might have covered this on a week that you weren't there. I can't remember if I did a solo episode on this or not. But there was an article, I think, from VGC, which was covering Matt Piscatella. And he's an analyst at Sakana, who do like the American kind of data for game releases each month. So he kind of does like,
yep.
Yeah, and he kind of, he would release like, these are the most played games of this month, the most sold games, most hours spent, so on and so forth. But he was kind of sharing some insights, and I think it was on Kind of Funny with Greg, around like how user spending and time has shifted so much, particularly over the PS4 and PS5 generation, where back in the day, people would play a game, finish it, buy a new one. Where now that the time economy is so like spread across all these different games, and you got the introduction of like free to play and a whole bunch of live service initiatives, that people's engagement with games is so different, where people don't always just upgrade from game to game. They'll like spend plenty of time in a world, and will rarely jump from that. So what that has meant is that the economy of players overall is much bigger today than it was 10, 15 years ago. But the pool of players is being pulled into so many different directions, as opposed to just playing the new and greatest games, right? And what that's done is like, it's diluted everything, where you look at the top 10 most played games every month. You're getting Roblox, you're getting Fortnite, Minecraft, like all the things that we know, GTA 5. And what the data shows is like, players aren't looking at, how many hair follicles are on Aloy's face. They're playing games that graphically aren't that intense. And
fun.
Yeah, if a player's comfortable playing Minecraft on PS4 or Fortnite on PS4, and that's what they play, they're not incentivized really to jump into a PS5. So I think that has kind of shifted the mentality of a lot of players. And Sony finds themselves in a rock and a hard place, where I think they're eager to get to PS6. Because, they're reaching close to 100 million units sold. They'll probably outpace PS4 by the time that GTA 6 comes out, because that will boost console sales in the millions, right? That's a different kind of like thing, right? Like there isn't a game like GTA that is going to push hardware. There isn't a game, right? GTA is the game to do it. But they're probably more eager to jump into PS6, right? Because, they can transition those 100 millions across over to PS6. Potentially, their whole... The rumor around PS6 was they were targeting a cheaper price point, potentially cheaper than the PS5 Pro. That was obviously pre-RAM, pre-everything that's going on in the world. So they're probably wanting... Yeah, they're probably really wanting to get PS6 out there and get that into market. But I think, like I said, the players aren't so much worried about the graphical fidelity of the games themselves and more happy to play it where they are. And that's where you're seeing that stagnation in the console market. But really, the big thing is Switch, right? We could have a PS6 tomorrow, and players like you and I may upgrade, and we might get a handful of games that will take advantage of next-gen hardware. But, you know, as you mentioned, right, games taking longer to make, and with the extended time comes extended costs. And a game that would cost, you know, we talked about the Uncharted games costing like, I don't know, $11 to $20 million to make, right? And now games are costing $200 to $300 million. So the only way for the developers to really recoup costs is to have the game on more platforms than, like, play on everything, right?
Play anywhere.
Play anywhere. The still Microsoft slogan. So what they're targeting is PC, Switch, and console, right? So if I'm Square Enix, right, and I made Final Fantasy 16, and it sold well, right? 3 million in the first month, right? It's probably continuing to sell quite well. That launched on PS5, right? So you can only really play that on PS5. Now, obviously, PC and Xbox. But you didn't get your hands on the 125 million Switch owners out there. And look at a game like Final Fantasy VII and the success it's now seeing on Switch. It's nearly as if the game remake is launching for the first time. It's like the most sold game on Switch, the most played. I think it's in the top 10 for Xbox. So if I'm Square Enix and I'm developing Final Fantasy 17 and the PS6 is sitting there, and I go, that's great, let's take advantage where possible, but I want this game running on Switch too.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you're like, well, I could just keep my PS5 and play it, because if it's running on Switch 2, it's going to run on my PS5. So why am I upgrading?
Well, if it's running on Switch 2, it's running on PS4 Pro. Like, the only thing that's stopping that is a DRM, like, issue with, like, you're not releasing it on there.
Exactly.
But
so
it still could graphically run there hardware-wise.
Exactly. So that's where it's like the rock and the hard place, where Sony's pushing, probably wants people off PS4. I mean, I know, like, we know they want that.
They want people moving to the later product.
Yeah, and that's probably where they want to develop this PS6 with price in mind, so people will upgrade. But the world, you know, the economy's changed so much that the whole landscape of gaming is completely different now than it was when PS5 launched. It's completely different. We've never seen a generation where buy the console day one is actually the cheapest point. In fact, it's gone up in price.
I was actually going to make that point. Yeah. It's crazy that we've gone from, you know, when the PS3 released in Australia, it was 1,000 AUD, so 1,000 Australian dollars. Towards the end of its life, we're getting the Super Slim for about 200.
Yeah, $299. Yeah, with the game. Yeah.
I think it was. I think the cheapest I saw was $249.
Yeah.
With the game, which was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
The PS5 release, what, $799?
Yeah, $749. $749 or $799 around there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Australian, and I think it is still, if not more. Well, the PS5 Pro is 1,000.
Yeah, I think it went up in price, but Sony's had a few like campaigns and stuff. Like, I've seen it around the same price, but regardless, it hasn't gone down. Like, it's not like $5.99 or, you know, it's relatively close.
So they've done things they've actually done things for the revisions of the PS5 to keep the cost down.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't. Oh, this is just a standard PS5 too. Mm-hmm. They've gone through revisions to keep the cost down, whether it's like reducing the fan size, reducing the heatsink size, like, to keep the cost down so they can still advertise for that $799 price.
Yeah.
But 6 years into the tech of this console, it's still the same price as launch, which is crazy.
Yeah. They've even, in certain regions, cut the hard drive space to be like 800 gig instead of the terabyte to try to keep that price down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely one of those interesting things. And I think if I was Sony, you'd be watching this very closely. They've got the benefit, I think, of if PS6 is coming in at a lower price, if they can pull it off, and you do have this handheld kind of combo unit where you can get a handheld that docks, that's less powerful and all that we've heard about.
Yeah.
there's incentive there for them to try to get this thing out, particularly as they enter markets that aren't console centric, right? We saw this generation Sony really step into Korea and Japan, Korea and China, and other parts of the world too, right? They have the India project and a few others. So there's probably incentive for them to go, all right, this is our chance to launch a new generation into those markets day and day or around the same time, as opposed to like PS5 launching in 2020 and then it eventually comes to China a few years later. And particularly if they're going to go into the handheld realm, right? I think there's incentive there. But it's definitely one of those things where PS5 will likely, I think, outsell PS4 or get very close. And obviously
I think you said PS5 GTA 6 will be the point.
Yeah.
Puts it over the edge.
It'd be interesting to see the tail end of it. Like I think PS4 is at 120 odd million. Let's have a look. Console sales. I think it's like 125 million units. Let's see.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's up there, right?
Outsold the PS3, yeah.
Yeah, 117 million units as of March 2022, right? So it's probably at about 125 million units at this point, if not maybe even slightly more. And then you compare that to PS3, which was like 89 million units. PS2 was 150, but that was the whole DVD thing. So why I'm saying all that is PS4 outsold PS3. PS5 will probably likely outsell PS4. PS6 is the interesting point. Do we get a generation again where Sony can pull it off and beat the previous generation in terms of units sold? I don't know.
I don't think so. If I'm a betting man, I'm betting against it. I think PS3, PS4, PS2 to PS4 was like their height. Yeah, I feel like PS5 might just get over, like it will stabilize with the PS4 to PS5, but unless there is a groundbreaking thing that happens with tech that people will just like, I must have the PS6, like it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but it's exactly what you said. The game developers are developing for no one's, unless the first party studios. Even Square backed out, being like, we're not doing solely on PlayStation anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just happening.
Yep. Yeah, you're not going to get
everyone's going multi-platform.
Yeah.
Because you want your game to be like played. You want your game to make money.
Yeah. 100%. And we live in a world now, like, I heard Colin say this on his podcast, and I think it's true, where a game would launch, like you think like when Uncharted 3 launched or whatever, right? Like everyone was talking about it. That's all you saw online. It was like the moment in time that would last a period of time. Now we get games like Silksong where people have been waiting for it forever, and then it just comes and goes. It sells well. People love it, but it just comes and goes. Like, even look at Hades. Remember when the first Hades launched? It felt like it took over everything.
Yeah.
And Hades 2, which reviewed just as well, just kind of happened. And we moved on because there was so much happening and so many games releasing.
It's funny you say that, because I spent more time in Hades 2 than I did Hades 1. But to me, Hades 1 felt like I played it so much more.
Yeah.
Even though I put 40 less hours into it. It just feels the impact was there, where it was like, that's all I wanted to do. That was a game that, like you said, it felt around. Like, it felt like it was in the atmosphere, it was in the talks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Hades 2, like, it was there in pre-release, but once it got released, I was actually heard less about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
But fantastic game nonetheless, like same as Silksong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
So it's the attention economy of people being pulled into a million directions, right? Where it's like, and that's the thing. So it's a combination of like so many games coming out, people are playing so many different things. Everything's competing for attention. Because they're competing for attention and because games cost so much to make, we need them on all platforms. So it's diluting the need to upgrade. And maybe the solution potentially is like, okay, how do we rethink the concept of a console? Kind of like what Switch did originally. And I think a Sony handheld is compelling. And I think PS6 launching would still sell maybe cracks 100 million units as well. But I just don't think we'd get like another 120, 125. Like, we might be into a generation where, for the first time ever, Sony's running a PS4, 5, and 6 at the same time.
Yeah.
That was unheard of. Like, PS3 launched, and I know we got God of War 2 after PS3 launch, but that was kind of it. And then it was like Resistance, Killzone, everything was like on PS3, and that was it. And if you wanted those games, you upgraded. Where now it's like, what is the need for PS5, right? There is a handful of games, some really great games that I think are worth having on PS5. And for people like us, it makes sense to upgrade. But you could get away with just a PS4.
Yeah. Well, it's like, if I look at it now, if I look at PS5 only games, so there's like Astrobot.
Yeah. Games
that I would think are really, like, I think Death Stranding 2 is coming to PC soon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not even one. So it's Astrobot, Demon Souls.
Yep.
Ghost of Yotei, which
that will come to PC in the next 12 months. Yep.
So it's Astrobot. So it's Astrobot. Then we got Marvel's Wolverine coming out, which might come to PC at a later date.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Astrobot.
Yeah, I mean, even if you looked at...
And that's for me.
Even if you looked at, like... Because PC is still an investment, but even if you looked at just, like...
coming out.
Next, like, current gen PC combo, there's still a lot of games coming on PS4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just... Yeah, this is one of those interesting things, so... Definitely there's something to keep our eye on. You know, I think I would upgrade. I've already started, like... putting money aside, so it doesn't look as painful for when that time comes. But yeah,
I like that idea. Just throw money aside while it happens. Like, I am the big, like, I didn't get a PS4 until the 2.8 2.9 Kingdom Hearts came out. So that was when I got a PS4. I didn't see the need to upgrade. Or was it Uncharted 4?
So that was 2016.
Yeah. So, or whatever Kingdom Hearts came out. It was one of those two. That's when I felt the need to upgrade. With PS5, it was when Ratchet and Clank came out. So
yeah, pretty close to launch then.
Like, pretty close to launch within like a year, I think. But yeah, for me, it's not. I don't want the new thing day dot. Except for, I guess I bought the Switch 2, had Mario Kart release game. But for me, it's more. I need a game. Play. Like, I need something to play. I don't want it for the sake of having it. I need something to play. And that's why for the longest time I didn't get a PS3.
Yeah. You've spoken about that before. And what's interesting in Sony's position, they rely so much on third-party sales being sold on their hardware. That 30% rip. They need to be conscious, and I'm sure they are, of Switch, right? Because there could be a point where a game comes out and you go, well, I've got a Switch, I've got a PS5. If I buy it on Switch, I've got a handheld to play it on the go, and I'll just buy it on Switch, and Sony get nothing. So there's probably a need for them to bring out something new that is compelling enough for you to go, I've got my option to buy it on PC on Switch, but I'll buy it on PS6 because of the handheld, because of this feature, because of whatever. So that's probably driving it. Yeah.
That I agree with that. The PS6 being like, it might not be as powerful. It could just be as powerful as PS5. You know what I mean? Like, for the handheld version. But like you said, they want to make it a different price point. They want to make it available to people who are. They want to make it as available and as playable as the Switch because they've seen the market. But we knew Nintendo were the kings of the handheld market, and then they kind of took that dive with the Wii U. The greatest console ever. But they kind of just been like, cool, we're handheld, stick to it, we can dominate that game. And it's actually that the Nintendo Switch has made waves in gaming.
Yeah, it's completely changed everything.
It's completely changed everything. Like, the handheld market there's like 6 or 7 PC handhelds that are competing for it.
Yeah.
Competing for like a slice of the pie, and then Sony's going to come in with one.
Yeah.
Nintendo's already got their established market, so it's like it really is like first and best dress for that. But brand establishment, which I think is important, which is kind of why Xbox was doing with the Xbox ROG Ally X, whatever. But if Sony do another PlayStation Portable, that's enough brand recognition to be like, oh, well,
yeah,
if I'm getting a handheld, I should just get the PlayStation, of course.
PlayStation one, of course. Yeah, 100%. And it's all going to come down to price. So we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. But yeah, that's really the crux of the conversation. Crust? What is it? Crux? Is it the crux of the conversation? I thought it was the crust.
Yeah, crux.
Okay, so it's not crust. Which would make sense, right? Because it's like... No, actually it would be the opposite because the crust is on the outside, not the center, which is not the crux of the conversation.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. A crux. CRUX. It's the basic central or essential point of feature. You want... So it's the meat of the conversation.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah, you don't want the crust.
You know what
the crust is?
The scraps. No. But yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye out. Like I said, putting money aside for when the time comes because I know it's going to be a shock. I remember PS5 launch. I spent $1,400 because I was like, and I need the camera, and I need the remote, and I need the stand, and I need the controller charger. And now I'm like, and another controller. Now I'm like, this thing's going to be expensive. I'm just going to get the console. The controller charging station is a must. Like, I can't believe I went so long. That was the first time I actually purchased one. Before that, I used to just plug it in, like some sort of pleb. So I definitely... No, I'm not doing that. So I'll be buying that. So yeah, I'll probably be spending the same amount of money, but just getting the console and maybe a charging thing. But yeah, so we shall see. But Vinny, this has been a fantastic conversation. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Anything else you wanted to kind of say as we wrap this baby up?
I'll say this. I'll be like,
I'll say this. I like
play
that.
some old stuff.
Yeah.
Play some old stuff. Really, like we're talking about new technology and how it's actually not all crash hot. Play some games that you missed. Play some generational games that you missed. They're sure easily accessible no matter where you find them. A lot of stuff's available on PC, GOG, stuff's available in eShops and PlayStation stores. Play what you missed. There's some gems in there. You're going to enjoy yourself.
Yep.
Play your Kingdom Hearts. Hit your nostalgia. Like, because I can't wait to play it again for the 17th millionth time.
Yeah. No, I think I think Kingdom Hearts is the go right now.
Yeah. Family-friendly fun. All right? Fun for the whole family.
For everyone. And which is all that matters.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us on this episode of Dodge, Parry and Roll. First one of 2026, which is incredible to think about. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. And let us know in the comments below if PS6 did launch, or the next Xbox launched in 2027. Would you buy it? Let us know. Vinny?
Let us know.
Let us know. You want to wrap us up?
May the power protect you. Yep.
Goodbye. Good night.
Losing touch.
I know. We're forgetting it. All right. See you, everyone.